Hi, everyone.
Hey, hello.
We have some exciting news, don't we, Mark? We're opening church.
Woohoo!
The weekend of June 20th to 21st, we're reopening church. We're going to have 4 services.
That's right.
6:30 Saturday night, and on Sunday morning, 8, 9:30, and 11, just like at Easter. And Mark, it's been 95 days.
95 days.
Since we have met together. We're going to have a special service. You and I are going to preach a message together, which is scary. That's kind of a scary thought,
Yeah.
but we're going to be,
Tag team.
Anyway, it's going to be great. Now, there is a couple things that we like to just make you aware of. When you come, you get out of your cars, make sure you wear your mask, and you come to the door, we'll take your temperature. The ushers will usher you in. Once you're seated in the sanctuary here, you can take your masks off. Everybody asks, are you going to have childcare? We'll have childcare for 5-year-old and under. You go check them in. Be all CDC protocols in the childcare. And your older kids, the elementary kids, they'll sit here with the family. Now, our children's department has put together a really great video for them. It's 35 minutes long, and you can access it.
It's so cool.
Yeah, you can access it on an iPad, iPhone, whatever. Make sure you bring
Android.
headphones. If you don't have any, we have some headphones here with you. But that's so that when you and I start speaking, they have their own message on the video.
On the 2 biggest services, we're also going to have an overflow room. It'll have a live band. It'll have a host pastor. So even if you miss the first one, even if you don't get into the big sanctuary, it'll be a great experience over there.
And also, Mark, we're going to have a professional company come in here and disinfect everything.
Every Sunday.
Yes, and the disinfectant that they use is good for 24 hours. It'll kill any virus for 24 hours.
So we have a great plan in place.
Yes.
Now, returning to church is an individual choice for everybody. Some people are going to have different opinions about when they feel safe to come back or when it's right to come back for them. So we just want to make room for everybody. The right choice for you is the one that you feel is right. Now, the services will continue to be live streamed. So if you need to, you can stay at home. If you're a person with a serious underlying condition, you might want to choose to stay at home. Certainly don't come if you're sick. And so we believe we have a great plan. We will be meeting or exceeding all CDC's guidelines.
Yeah.
Now, we want to talk about something that we hope will not be an issue. We hope that this problem will resolve itself before the 20th and 21st. But because it might be an issue, we thought we should discuss it. So Dave, just by way of opening, tell us what happened in Las Vegas.
Last week in Las Vegas, they opened up casinos. And although casinos have people milling around, thousands of people, and they're sharing cards, poker chips, slot machines,
Drinking.
handles, they were allowed to open at 50% capacity. And for some of those, again, that could be thousands of people. Meanwhile, churches in Las Vegas, no matter how large, are only allowed 50 people in the sanctuary.
Now that is crazy.
Yes, it is.
Now this points out a very serious problem. Governors in some states are making decisions not based on consistent safety protocols, but rather on politics or political calculations. And as a result of that, we have people locked out of churches at a time when they need them the most.
On May 20th, the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice informed our governor, Governor Newsom, that his reopening plan discriminated against churches, against religious churches. Only then did he declare churches could open with a crippling restriction, 20-day restriction. They could only have 25% capacity or 100 people, whichever is less.
Or less. Now for comparison, restaurants where people sit for a comparable amount of time as they do in church, as well as gyms, bowling alleys, museums, hotels, bars, and wineries, they're all open with no numerical limit and no percentage limitation. They just have to have a plan for 6-foot social distancing. Now, stores and malls where people are walking around and mixing freely, social distancing is difficult. They're limited to 50% capacity, but there's no numerical limit.
On the other hand, Our church is limited to 100. Look behind us. There's 1,700 seats here. 100 people is less than 6% of the capacity here. For some large, even larger churches than ours here in San Diego, it can go all the way down to 3%.
Now that's crazy.
This 21-day limitation expires this Monday, June 15th. The San Diego County Board of Supervisors sent a letter to Governor Newsom asking him not to renew this restriction on churches,
And
we
good
want
for
to thank
them.
him. We want to thank them. Now, it's not too late for you to email the governor and urge him not to renew these restrictions, to let him go. We encourage you to do so.
Now, the best option for everyone is for the governor not to impose these unfair limits. We want to join with the great majority of states that have long ago reopened their churches under the federal CDC guidelines, which include social distancing and other measures. It makes absolutely no sense to think that worshiping God in church puts people at greater risk than these other activities. How do we pick who gets to go to church and who doesn't? How do we tell people who are really struggling, sorry, we can only take 100 while the church is over 90% empty?
We recently sent a letter to Governor Newsom that was signed by 23 churches. We sent a copy to the Board of Supervisors, informing the governor that we are going to open our church and these other 23 churches the weekend of June 20th and 21st. And we're going to open under federal CDC guidelines. In doing so, we are joining with more than 1,000 other churches in California. We have been patient, we've been cooperative, but we see this unequal treatment as a threat to religious freedom, our religion, our freedom to practice religion. The Bible tells us that coming together is essential to Christianity. The Bible commands us not to neglect the gathering together in the book of Hebrews. Ask yourself this, my friend. If we don't stand up to this now, what further restrictions might our government place upon us in the future?
You know, that's a sobering thought. Now, some people are confused about a recent 5-4 decision by the Supreme Court. And it's important to realize that they did not decide on whether the governor's recent actions are constitutional. They've not even heard the case. The case is still in the 9th District Court of Appeals. They simply declined to place an emergency stay on Governor Newsom's 21-day action. We still believe that the court will decide in favor of religious freedom and our constitutional rights when they finally hear the case.
That's something we need to pray about.
And we do.
So it's time to say goodbye, Mark.
I want to tell you, I don't know if you guys have missed us.
We've missed
We've
you.
missed you guys.
You don't know what it's like preaching. Well, he does, of course. Preaching to an empty, auditorium is hard.
Yeah. We just want to see you guys. I think we're going to have, this is going to be a very exciting service. So
And
we'll
pray
see
for
you
Mark
there.
and I as we try to preach a sermon together.
Yeah.
God bless you guys.
Bye.